All right, guys, we're gonna cover 5 mistakes that you may be making that could be hindering your results or your performance. Who wants to kick it off? Abby.
Awesome. I think one of the things is the perception that lifting heavier is going to result in getting hurt. This is why we have such a broken down warm up. We want to make sure everybody's warm, everybody's moving properly and efficiently, and that's why we go through a weighted warm-up. That's why we do our pause position work, and again, all that concentration on breaking down the movement, making sure that we are covering all areas of the movement, and that transfers over to adding weight and making sure that all the things that we broke down in the warm-up and all the things that we go over constantly brings you to adding weight and getting stronger. So it's not, I don't want to add weight to hurt myself. I want to add weight because I want to get stronger and trust that we're leading you through that path.
Absolutely. Elena?
Me? Okay. One area is not tracking progress. So recommend, like, as soon as you guys get in here, grab a logbook or some form of notebook and just start writing down your workouts each day. So writing down the workout, how you performed it, maybe what weight you used, the time you did it in, as much detail as you can. That way, over time, you can see that progress because it's proof, it's written down right in a notebook for a few reasons. You could see, like I said, your progress over time. So maybe, at the beginning of the year, I push pressed 55 pounds, but now it's July and I'm push pressing 85 pounds, and you could see that progress over time, as well as maybe sometimes we're in a class and maybe we ask for a percentage of a certain weight, and maybe you don't quite know that. If you have it written down, it's a lot easier for us to track and let you know sort of where to go for that weight. So definitely writing things down is a key in helping track that progress.
Cool. I'll go next. The thought, myth, perception that skipping meals will lead to weight loss or eating more food is always going to equal weight gain. So a lot of us want to get to this ideal image in our head of what our bodies could and should look like to ourselves. And more often than not, that's going to require the metabolism to be revving, and that's going to require food. When we skip breakfast, skip meals, or eat the wrong things, which is typically a lot of the wrong carbohydrates, the body gets into fat storing. So you're not into a burning mechanism for your fuel, but you're into storing mode. So that's a fault right off the bat with food, and learning and training and kind of disciplining yourself to eat the right foods. And more often than not, a lot of people are not eating enough food, and it's enough of the right food. So timing complex, healthy carbohydrates near your exercise or your fitness, whatever that may be, and then leaning off of those and higher vegetable, protein, and even some healthier fats away from training 3 to 4 times throughout the day. And if you do snack, finding those healthy alternatives, because a lot of people overconsume in those areas, whether that's through liquids, through snacking, or bulk eating at the end of the day, which again, skipping meals, you're in storing mode, so you're never going to achieve the body that you're looking for because you haven't put yourself in the place that it needs to be to start doing that. So that's what I would say.
With all of this stuff, like the eating, the lifting weights, like none of this stuff works unless you're consistent with it, right? You need to be here at least 3 days a week, maybe push towards like 5, maybe even like 6 if you want to continue to get in here to move around. Getting in here once a week or every 10 days, or coming for a week and then us not seeing you for a week, like that's not going to get you towards the results you want. And it can even go down to being more consistent with tracking your numbers. So when we're up at the board and people are like, we say, 80% of your deadlift, and you're like, what should I lift today? It's like, it's like if we track those things and get consistent there, and then eating more consistent, you're going to get those results you want. But it all kind of starts with like building the habit of getting here more. So then JR, tie it up, button it up.
This is
more directed towards women, but the idea that lifting heavy weights or strength training is going to make you bulky. It takes a lot of hard work and eating properly, like all the time, training multiple times a day for a woman to get bulky. And I think that when women have this mindset that if I lift weights, I'm going to get bulky, they shy away from exercise as a whole sometimes because they're just nervous. They don't want to like look like a man. I can't say how many times I've heard that. But what? True. But strength training is actually one of the best ways for you to lose the weight that you need to lose the weight you need to lose.
Nailed it.
And work towards the body that you would actually love having, and it makes going through your everyday life so much easier because you have that strength to do those tasks that maybe are a little bit harder for you, like if you need to move your couch across the room, things like that. If you don't strength train, you're not going to have the muscles to do that, and it's not going to end up with you being bulky.
Right, and just to piggyback off of that, because shape, which, well, you know, if a lady wants a shape in terms of legs or curves or hips or butt with a small waist and, you know, nice toned arms, it's like that only comes from clean eating and some form of, you know, healthy nutrition there, combined with strength training and lifting weights and going through squatting and lunging and deadlifting. And you're never going to achieve that without putting your body under that stress, which then breaks down the tissue, then you repair through your food. I think it's a bodybuilding misperception where women took lifting weights to an extreme and even like enhanced pharmaceutically, and all women who lift weights got pushed in that category when that's not the case. Everyone has a genetic potential, and it could be pushed to the extreme, not even really through food and weights, but some people maybe put on strength or size differently, and then it's just learning about your body. But more often than not, the weights and the eating aren't going to push you to that category. It's when you take it to the extreme with things that aren't necessarily probably legal. Right? So yeah, I don't know if anybody has anything else on
I was
that.
just going to say, and it feels really good to be strong.
Right, yeah. And beautiful, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, like we're asking, you know, you guys getting here for an hour a day, 5 days a week, so like 5 hours in the grand scheme of like a week where, you know, that's like 128 hours, something like that, where it's like, yeah, something like that, some math, right? But like, if we're, you know, talking about like, you know, like these like crazy, like looking like Ronnie Coleman, or, you know, like these like crazy bodies, right? That is like 8 to 10 hours a day of lifting weights and stuffing your face until like you cannot move, and it's like, no, we want you to eat clean, move a barbell 2 to 3 times a week, you know, do some varied fitness, and like that's gonna lead to like the body that you want, like where you're strong and you're able to, you know, do anything in life.